Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of the Fishing Teacher. Much appreciated you guys making some time out of your day to check the video out. It's always appreciated. Today we're going to continue with our series of, identifying different bait categories, different key baits and the sport of fishing. And we're going to be talking about the old school speed trap. Now, guys, this is one of my favorite all-time baits right here. I've been fishing the speed trap for 30 years, and it was sort of way ahead of its time. It was one of the first crankbaits out there that was sort of like a high performance square bill crankbait. And a little bit about the thing here. This is a hard plastic bodied crankbait, and most of them got a pretty loud rattle in them like that. And the square lip on it allows it to really deflect off objects real good. But there's something that's really unique about the speed trap over other categories of the square bill. It's basically the construction, how the thing is designed aerodynamically. You've got the bottom here, then you've got a fairly sharp ridge right here coming into a fairly narrow back. And guys, I don't know what it is about this, but they will bite this thing extremely good, especially in colder water. It's like two extremes. They'll bite it really good in super cold water or really hot water. I don't know what it is about it. And the speed trap is a great example of what we talk about here, as far as there's sort of a mystery around what makes some lures better than others, as far as what makes fish strike them. And a lot of times you can't like look at a bait and say, man, that thing looks really good, I bet that thing will catch fish, because some of the best looking lures I've ever seen, I can't get a bite on them. And some of the lures that maybe don't look that good or don't have the best components in them catch more fish. Now, the speed trap, I consider it a bait that has like average quality components. So like the attention to detail on the thing, I would put it at average. But there's something about this thing that it has been one of my top producers. Like I said, for over 30 years. I've caught some very big bags of bass on the speed trap all over the country, not just limited to one thing. But I think it's made by a company called Lure Jensen. And specifically, let's talk a little bit about, where I like to fish it. There's two primary situations that I've done really good on it. Number one is cranking some type of riprap or rock in cooler water, like when the water temperatures are like anywhere between 47 to maybe 55 degrees, sort of the pre-spawn, or again, maybe in the late fall, something like that. Water clarities can range anywhere between, say, like 2 feet to maybe 4 or 5 feet, depending upon the day. And the target zone that you're hitting at, this bait with like 10 to 12 pound test line, you're going to be targeting sort of that 2 to 4 foot zone with it. So I would consider it a fairly shallow running crankbait. But there's something about it when those fish are fairly shallow in cooler water, it's like there's not hardly a better bait to catch them on it. Now, the other situation where this thing works really good in is over any type of grass beds. If you guys fish grass beds, I don't care if it's in Florida, if it's in the TVA lakes, if it's in Texas, up north or whatever, for whatever reason, cranking a square bill speed trap over the shallow grass, shallow to mid-depth grass is a great way to catch them. They've got a lot of different color variations in this thing. I buy them just like you guys do. I don't have any affiliation with them at all. I just buy them, but say for example, I'll show you a couple different colors here. In the pre-spawn, like over grass, I like a red one like that. I caught a bunch of fish on the red one. And then also they got some good shad patterns that work really good like in the summertime, like that shad pattern like there. Now, the shad patterns, I like them. We talked about the extremities as far as hot water, cold water. I like the shad patterns in the summertime. And the times that I fish the speed trap is in the summertime. It's again on riprap banks, or if you've got areas that have flat rocky banks. I don't mean like steep rocky banks, but flatter banks that have maybe some broken rock on it. Really good to catch them on it, but you can't beat it around riprap. But my two favorite colors are either the shad pattern or some type of a chartreuse. Chartreuse works really good in the colder water. Now, it's called a speed trap simply because a couple different reasons. You can burn this bait pretty fast and it won't roll over to its side. So a lot of the times, if you guys are like on some type of a bite where you're catching them like on a lipless crankbait, like a rattle trap, I found the speed trap to work hand in hand with that. It's like, if you can catch them on a lipless crankbait, you can also catch them on a speed trap. The speed trap does not have a real wide wobble on it. It's got a fairly tight wobble, but whatever the wobble is, I don't quite understand. They will bite it. And to be honest with you, when you put a speed trap in the water and you reel it through the water, it doesn't look that impressive to me. It's like the action of the bait. It's like when you look at it, it's like, that I don't see anything special about that. I don't really understand. Nothing stands out in my mind. All I know is they bite it. I mean, that's the proof in the pudding right there, is whether they bite the thing or not. Because on the other hand, I've got some crankbaits out there that I've tried that they look great in the water. I mean, the profile and the action, they just wobble perfect, and I can't hardly get a bite on them. So I've talked about this a little bit before, and I'll go into a little bit later. There are some things that we just don't understand about what actually triggers fish to bite. And a lot of times it's just a matter of experimentation, just to try something until it works. But anyway, guys, you can see them. I'll show you how much I like them. See how many I got in there? And those are collecting them over the years. Like I said, buying them up at tackle stores when I see them, and caught a ton of fish on them. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, and hope it helps you guys catch a few more. We'll talk later.